Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to the sound test stream. Today we are taking a look at oscilloscope and spectrogram from Blue Mango, a new app from Blue Mango. Right. Okay. So oscilloscopes and spectrograms are incredibly useful for musicians for many different reasons, which we'll cover in this video. At the moment, you're looking at me in timing mode here in continuous, which is showing us both a waveform of my voice and also the spectrogram. But we could just choose to see the wave, or we could just choose to see the spectrogram. Spectrograms show you every single frequency that's happening in the audio that's coming into it. So you see this little see that little pause button here? Let's pause this here now like that. And on this scale here, you'll see it goes all the way up to 20K. If you hold this and you move this line down, if you keep an eye on this section here, you will see the note, the MIDI note there, 125, the actual note and the octave that note is in frequencies contained in my voice talking to you now. So, moving down, you get to the fundamentals are the brightest ones here kind of thing. So you'll see that was an A kind of here, was an A sharp. Let's do this. About in the center of there was a B. Then we've got an F. And then a G. An F sharp there. An F, MIDI note 53 in the octave and the third octave. So we can resume this now. You can also pinch and zoom, but I like it a lot slower. You can kind of see what's going on. So you can find out in pretty much anything that you run through, certain frequencies that are present in that actual audio file, if you like. Okay, so let's have a look at left and right. Left and right just splits these. Left plus right is a sum of both the left and right channels. Okay, this is a mono microphone, so left and right is going to be pretty much identical. X and mood unit seems to have crashed out there. Let me just sort that out. I'll just close that. X and Y here, this is because it's only one line. Down here is left and then you've got right, so it's both left and right. And because there's only one line, it tells us that that's in mono. And here, if you look at correlation, it means that both the left and right channels are going to be exactly the same because it's mono. There's no difference at all. What happens when we start to make this into stereo is something different again, which we shall have a look when I reinstall mood here. You'll see what's going on. Okay, so let me just take you through another thing here. This is very cool indeed. This here, this one, you'll see that I've got it set on X and Y. Now this is a stereo track and it's a piece of music. I'm going to play it. It's a couple of minutes, but this is important because at the moment the correlation is at 0. If this was a mono, it would be 100%. But when it becomes stereo, this changes, the percentage changes. And how the percentage changes and how it's represented here is very important because if this goes minus a number, you're getting some sort of phase cancellation. And you don't want phase cancellation all the time in a mix because what happens when it goes back down to mono is it sounds absolutely terrible. So you want this to be, when this track's playing, we want this to be somewhere between 0 and 100 in the plus. When it goes minus, that's not great. It's going to go minus every now and then because it's a stereo file and there's all sorts of stuff going on. But as long as it's mainly in plus to 100, we're going to be fine. So let's run this track and see what happens here in the spectrogram, in the oscilloscope and spectrogram. So we know it's stereo. Can expand that. Watch this though. It's pretty good so far. anytime it wants. So it's only very occasionally going minus. So the main part of the track now is absolutely spot on. So looking at this, it looks like I actually mixed this track okay. And at any time, of course, we can get a better view. We can look at, oh, let's just look at it of a sum. Okay, so you get the idea. It's incredibly useful for checking out phase cancellation, just checking out the general wave, etc., etc. Okay, so all right, mood units crashed. Let's just open it up again like this. Now, I'm going to play a note on my MIDI keyboard. I'm going to just connect it actually to the little key step. And if we look at our spectrogram for this, we know that it's mono. Let's just expand this by pinching like that. But let's go to a sum of left and right. First of all, you don't know really what note I'm playing. I'm going to play another note now. Let's pause that. This is the main fundamental. So you can see the main note played, and then all the harmonics that go above that note. But let's see if I can go down here, and let's say I wanted to know what note is that. This is incredibly useful if you're sampling instruments, right? Imagine this, you've got a sound, right? I'll show you this I'll show you a good example of this in a sec, but if you've got a sound you sampled with somewhere, and you need to know what note that is, or what's the closest note to that sample. I mean, it might just be a scratching along a surface or something like that kind of thing, or tapping on something. But you want to know what note that is. You want to know what to put in there that's going to sound right. You can run this down here, and about in the center of this line, you will see what's there like that. There it was G sharp, MIDI note 56, octave 3, and it actually was. So that's very, very cool. It also, if it's out of tune, you can also kind of dial this down into the center a little bit. See this moving? Let's put this here. If I hold my finger right over this note here, and you can kind of get a fine tune situation going on where you can actually see how far it is out of tune, say if it was a guitar or something, and then you can retune the guitar to suit, etc., or whatever, the synth kind of thing. Okay, so also let's go to our waveform view. Now you don't know what waveform it is, but let's resume this. But it's telling us it's a sawtooth wave, more or less. The lower we go in frequency, obviously, the slower it's going to move. So if we go right up there, it's going to be pretty quick. And it's telling me it's a sawtooth wave. Okay, so let's have a quick deck. I happen to know that the first thing that loads is saw 1. So that's absolutely correct. The spectrogram, the oscilloscope, is telling me that that is what's it? A sawtooth wave. Let's go to XY, where this is mono, and you'll see this better now while I put in a stereo. There's another one of Blue Man Goo's apps, by the way, but now this is going to be stereo. You'll see that the wave changes each time it runs through the stereo field. And you can see the correlation here. Awesome stuff. So you get the idea there. Now, this is what I was saying about sampling instruments. Let's take out mood units a sec. And let's take off the stereo delay. And let us put in Rusemaker Noir. This is really good, because if I open Noir now and I go, right, okay, I'm going to load a preset here and choose one of these. Let me do some finger. I don't know, right? I don't know. Whatever it is crocodiles on the loose, right? I don't know what frequency this is. I have no idea, not a clue. And I'm going to watch my volume, because sometimes these can be quite loud. So if I'm just going to do this. Right, I'm going to stop that. So here's Noir. Who knows? Let's have a look. Well, we know it's mono. So even though there's loads of information, we know that that signal going into our oscilloscope is a mono signal. But we're more interested in what's going on with the frequencies, right? That's the waveform. Let's look at our... And let's pause. We can stop that now, and we can go and have a look. And we can go down here to where the main action is and get pretty close to the center of the brightest part and know it's an F sharp. Could be an F. But if you put something like a synth sequence or something now that you know is in F sharp, that's going to fit pretty well with that sequence. And that is mind-bogglingly useful. Start that off again. Resume. Again, on continuous U, it's also really useful, because you can kind of see what's going on. There are people, it is said, that can actually read spectrographs. You know, somebody's talking and say, well, this is what they're saying, probably. I don't know how true that is, but you know. Anyway, you can see that all the frequencies present there. And if we move our things down here, see that there we go. The main thing going on there is that F sharp sort of thing we saw. It's about in the center there. It's an A sharp there, a G. We can carry on going up, and right up there, you're not really going to need to be worrying about things like hi-hat hits and stuff like that. But you can see how crazy useful this could be, right? Personally, they're good fun. Other than that, nice to play with as well. Let's see both. So you can do all sorts of cool stuff, like, you know, mega zoom in, zoom out. You can expand. You can double tap to reset here. Well, you can't really see, but on this line here, if you double tap, it will reset that line. So guys, there you go. There's a brief look at kind of different case scenarios. Now, I am going to link a video to Hans's Blue Man Goo's video up here. He kind of goes into more technical detail of how it works and explains things probably better than I do. But these are kind of things that I would use it for. 100% for the phase, just checking the phase on a mix, because that's, that's really important. You don't want it to be minus. Like I said, you don't ever want this going into minus too much. It's okay occasionally because it's a stereo file. That's fine. But if it's almost permanently in 0 to minus 100, then you've got massive phase issues and you need to do something about it, because it will sound even though it sounds all right in stereo in your headphones, it's going to sound absolutely terrible when it's sum to mono on a radio or something, or whatever, or a phone. Anyway, guys, listen, thanks very much for watching. I shall obviously put a link in the description for Oscilloscope and Spectrogram from my friends at Blue Mango. Yes, awesome stuff. I hope you get it and use it for checking mixers and stuff. But for sampling, man, this is like right on there for just finding out the actual frequency that's used, so you can actually tune it up in the sampler. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, consider becoming a Patreon from as little as $1 a month, and I will, where we go, see you guys later.